Magandang buhay mga bata! Tara, samahan ninyo akong matuto kasama si
Teacher Aika, your online teacher. Please don't forget to subscribe, like, share, and hit the notification bell for more videos. Thank you! Matatag Curriculum, Mathematics Grade 4, Quarter 4, Lesson 1. Our topic for today is about collecting, presenting, and interpreting data. This is Teacher Aika, your online teacher. Let's start! Learning competencies and objectives. First, collect data with time elements using appropriate sources. Second, present data in a tabular form or in a single-line graph. Third, interpret data presented in a tabular form or in a single-line graph. Fourth, solve problems using data for at most 2 variables in a tabular form or in a single-line graph. Day 1. Let's have first a short review. Name it. Instruction: show the following pictures of graphs to the class. Let them identify what type of graph is it. Let's have the first graph. What graph is this? The answer is pictograph. Second graph. What graph is this? The answer is bar graph. Third, what graph is this? The answer is line graph. And fourth, what graph is this? The answer is circle graph or pie graph. Let's have our lesson purpose for today. Analyze it. Instruction: let the learners analyze the situation below. After that, let them answer the question that follows. Let's read the problem. Joanna owns a grocery store. One of the products she sells in her store is ice cream. During the first week of May, her weekly ice cream sales are as follows. The title of the table is Ice Cream Sales for the Week. First column, Day. Second column, Sales. Monday, 310 pesos. Tuesday, 440 pesos. Wednesday, 550 pesos. Thursday, 420 pesos. Friday, 510 pesos. Saturday, 790 pesos. Sunday, 820 pesos. Let's answer the guide questions. Number 1, in what day is the ice cream sales lowest? The answer: the ice cream sales are lowest on Monday with 310 pesos. Number 2, in what day is the ice cream sales highest? The answer: the ice cream sales are highest on Sunday with 820 pesos. Number 3, what is the total weekly ice cream sales? The answer: the total weekly ice cream sales are 310 plus 440 plus 550 plus 420 plus 510 plus 790 plus 820 is equal to 3,840 pesos. Number 4. Based on the table, what can you infer about the ice cream sales? The answer: the table shows that ice cream sales are generally higher during the weekend, Saturday and Sunday, compared to weekdays. This suggests that more people buy ice cream on weekends, possibly due to leisure time or family outings. Number 5. Do you think there is another way of presenting the data in table? The answer: another way to present the data is through a bar graph or line graph, which would visually show the trend or sales over the week. Unlocking content vocabulary. Data. Data is a collection of facts and figures that can be in numerical or non-numerical form. Data collection. Data collection refers to the systematic process of gathering, measuring, and recording data. This may be done through surveys, interviews, and observations. A table. A table is an arrangement of data, typically in rows and columns, that summarizes it in easy-to-understand format. Line graph. Line graph is used to display data that shows change over time, a series of data points connected by a straight line segments. Day 2. Here are the steps for presenting data in tabular form. First, identify the required number of rows and columns based on the data. Second, clearly label the first row or first column to categorize the information accurately. Third, provide a concise title that effectively describes the data being presented. Let's have the worked example. Let's read a problem. Jaisel, a resident of Liliu, interviewed the owner of Badong's Footwear to determine number of pairs of slippers they sold each month last 2022. According to the owner, they sold 125 pairs in January, 200 pairs in February, 175 pairs in March, 475 pairs in April, 50 pairs in May, 100 pairs in June, 300 pairs in July, 150 pairs in August, 150 pairs in September, 50 pairs in October, 350 pairs in November, and 400 pairs in December. Present the data collected using a table. And here's the solution. First, decide on the number of rows and columns needed. You may use 2 columns for the month and number of pairs sold and 13 rows, first row for the label and the remaining rows for the months. Then, you may use month and pairs for the label of the first row. Allow the learners to complete the data for each column. Lastly, include a title that briefly describes the table. And here's the output. The title is pairs of slippers sold per month, 2022. First column, we have month, and the second column, we have pairs. January, 125 pairs. February, 200 pairs. March, 175 pairs. April, 475 pairs. May, 50 pairs. June, 100 pairs. July, 300 pairs. And August, 150 pairs. September, 150 pairs. October, 50 pairs. November, 350 pairs. And December, 400 pairs. Day 3. Here are the steps to present data in a single line graph. First, draw a vertical scale with tick marks. Label the tick marks and give the scale a label. Second, draw a horizontal scale with tick marks. Label the tick marks and give the scale a label. Third, plot a dot in each data value. And fourth, connect the dots and give the graph a title. Let's have the worked example. Your teacher in home economics wanted you to determine the number of sari-sari stores in the 6 barangays of your municipality. The table below shows your observation. The title, Number of Sari-Sari Stores per Barangay. First column, we have barangay, and the second column, we have sari-sari stores or the number of sari-sari stores. Kanlurang Bukal, 10. Ilayang Palina, 3. Maslun, 5. Burgos, 7. Oples, 1. Masikap, 4. Present the data using a single line graph. First, create a horizontal and vertical scale with tick marks. Label the tick marks and label the scale. Note, data presented as numbers should be in the horizontal scale. Next is to plot each data value, then connect it. Lastly, give it a title. And here's the line graph. Day 4. Lesson activity. Activity number 1, draw and interpret. Objectives. At the end of the activity, you should be able to present and interpret data in tabular form and in a single line graph. Materials needed, pen and ruler. Instructions, analyze the given situation. Draw a line graph that represents the data on the table and answer the questions that follows. Here's the problem. A mini zoo recorded the number of their visitors for 6 days. The table below shows their record. First column, day. Second column, number of visitors. Day 1, 200. Day 2, 600. Day 3, 400. Day 4, 350. Day 5, 800. And day 6, 500. Now, plot the data in this line graph. Questions. Number 1, how many visitors were there on day 3? Number 2, how many more visitors were there on day 5 than on day 1? Number 3, how many fewer visitors were there on day 6 than on day 2? Number 4, how many days did the zoo have fewer than 500 visitors? And number 5, if the ticket per visitor costs 150 pesos, how much is the ticket sale on day 1? Here's the answer key. For line graph, your line graph should look like this. And the answer to the questions are: first, 400, second, 600, third, 100, fourth, 3 days, and fifth, 30,000. Learners' takeaways and reflection on learning. Closing the loop. Instruction: let the learners answer the following questions. Number 1, what are the key concepts of our lesson? Number 2, which part of the lesson is the easiest for you and why? Number 3, which part of the lesson is the hardest for you? Why? Which part of the lesson is the easiest for you and why? Number 4, how are we as a class today? And here's the answer. Number 1, what are the key concepts of our lesson? The answer: the key concepts of our lesson are collecting data, organizing it in tables and graphs, and understanding what the data tell us. Number 2, which part of the lesson is the easiest for you and why? The answer: the easiest part for me was collecting data because it was fun to observe and record information. Number 3, which part of the lesson is the hardest for you and why? The answer: the hardest part was interpreting the data because sometimes understanding what the numbers or graphs mean can be tricky. Number 4, how are we as a class today? Our class today was exciting and interactive because we learned to organize and understand data in a simple way. Day 5. Lesson activity. Activity number 1, interpret it. Objectives: at the end of the activity, you should be able to present and interpret data in tabular form and in a single line graph. Materials needed: pen and ruler. Instructions: let the learners analyze the situation presented on a line graph. After that, let them answer the questions that follows. Here's the problem. George works as a salesman in an authorized car showroom. He records the number of cars he sold in 5 days, Monday to Friday, on a line graph. So this is what it looks like. Here are the questions that you need to answer. Number 1, how many cars were sold in 5 days? Number 2, on which day were the maximum number of cars sold? Number 3, how many days did George have sold cars fewer than 6? Number 4, how many cars were sold on Tuesday than on Monday? And number 5, If a car cost 850,000 pesos, how much did he sell on Tuesday? And here's the answer key. Number 1, 27 cars. Number 2, Friday. Number 3, 3 days. Number 4, 2 cars. And number 5, 4,250,000 pesos. Maraming salamat sa panonood. Huwag kalimutang i-like at mag-subscribe para sa higit pang educational content. I-click ang bell icon para ma-update ka sa ating mga bagong video. Salamat!